alive. Daring duck of mystery, champion of right, swoops out from the shadows. Darkwing owns the night. Somewhere villain schemes, but his number's up. 3, 2, 1. Darkwing Duck, motherfucker. Sorry.
And just like that, we have an edit for the show.
But if I do it at the beginning, I'll remember. If we do it in the middle, I'll forget. I'll totally forget. That'll come up. That's important for later. It's an important teaser for the end of the show.
Nice.
But hi, I'm Samus. He's Travis, and this is Two Trolls in a Brew, a podcast theoretically about Magic the Gathering and trolling out mother truckers. That's what I did there. It sounds like something else, but it's not. So, okay. Trolling out mother truckers. And I hear Travis had a really good weekend of trolling people, where I just had a weekend of bad beats. Before we get too carried away into the weeds, I want to throw a quick apology out there. With Gen Con and when we got back and Travis's new work schedule of like 18 jobs and my streaming schedule, we just couldn't sync up. That's kind of what it feels like some weeks on the stream. Like, no, don't you dare do that, you damn computer. But if you're interested in that at all, totally check me out, twitch.tv/SamusGarobo, as I get destroyed by whatever video game I happen to be playing. But yeah, no, it was really hard last week to get together since I was traveling kind of the Travis's and my usual window to like record and actually get it processed and out so we can get the show up by Thursday. We just never could hit. So apologies for missing last week. We won't do it again until next time.
Yeah, definitely not until next time.
Exactly. So let's jump into troll cards. We have a bunch to talk about this week. Again, for missing last week, we had some things like Gen Con to kind of talk about. We have game day to cover. We have spoilers to look at. We have decks that we're excited to talk about. So let's jump right into troll cards. You want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
You can go first since yours has a story that's probably longer than mine.
So, well, I mean, yes and no. So last week, we drafted as soon as I got back on Friday from Gen Con. Pick one, pack one is Crypt. Those of you who are watching the video, I'm throwing it up on the camera, but it's probably too blurry to read.
It is.
So that was my pick one, pack one, and I kind of took things kind of built around the idea that I was going to do this like discardy zombie thing. So I took things like Grim Harvest. I think I took 2 Grim Harvests as pack one with the idea that I would just, discard creatures and look for zombies and try to be the zombie theme deck. And then pick one, pack 2 was this vampire dude who is Stormkirk Condemned. He's another discard outlet, but he's a vampire whore. But he's pretty cool. That discards a card and all your vampires get +1/+1. That has a lot of interesting synergies and stories about it that we might get into with potential build possibilities in the future. But pick 2, my opponent passed me this guy.
Yes.
Travis, who is that guy?
Oh, that is my favorite dragon out of this set. That is the Mirrorwing dragon.
Is it the only dragon in the set?
Well, okay, huh? I guess that narrows it down.
That's Mirrorwing dragon. So some things changed. And I started taking things like Thermal Alchemist and all the different Escalate cards that I could find. And I picked up 2 Dismembers of the Blood. I think is what it's called. Distemper of the Blood. And I was doing all sorts of cool things, like discarding to make a zombie, or this Call of the Bloodline, Mirrorwing Dragon, and making all my little zombies who have menace, like, huge. And I was having a good time. until I played my son Remington. Right? My Remington, for those of you who've listened for a long time, he's a very special Magic the Gathering player. He likes certain things, and he likes them the most.
Yeah.
So we were playing, and I line up with double Distember of the Blood with discard outlets and Mirrorwing Dragon and like 6 dudes. Right? And I'm lining up my attack. Oh, I also had what did I say that enchantment was? Graft Harvest?
Yeah.
So all of my zombies had Menace as well. Right? Like, I'm going to attack, and I'm going to destroy Remy this game right now. Because I'm going to discard these to make my dudes huge, and he's not going to be able to block them because most of these have Menace, yada, yada, yada. So, boom, I attack. And he goes, give no ground, targeting your Mirrorwing Dragon. For those of you who don't know what give no ground is, for a white and 3 generic, it is an instant. Target creature gets +2/+6 until end of turn and can block any number of creatures this turn.
Mm-hmm.
So I end up blowing both of my pump spells that I happen to have at the time, and a borrowed Magnificence as a pump spell to basically have my board wiped. Essentially, is what it came down to. Because like his 4 dudes were able to like team up in such a way, like I was able to. I think I killed 1 guy out of that exchange and lost like 4 dudes. Completely crushed me. It's like, well, these 3 dudes are gonna block this guy, and then these 3 dudes that are already blocking are gonna, and it was just like, ah. It was a brutal beating. So this week's troll card, Give No Ground, and it trolled me really, really hard. I feel fortunate to have won the next game to take the match, but it was very close. It could have easily went the other way. After that blowout like that, it took a lot of mental effort to not go full on tilt. All because he had to give no ground. He gave none. He gave none. All right, Travis, what's your troll card this week, brother?
Oh, my troll card, simply because I saw it, and as soon as I saw it in pack 1, I was like, yep, that's what I'm building my deck around today. And that is Sigarda's Aid. And the deck came out really quickly, and once it was there, it just didn't leave. So if you don't know what Sigarda's Aid is, it's a 1 mana.
No.
Oh, okay. Well, it's a 1 mana white enchantment. It says you may cast aura and equipment spells as though they had flash. And then it says
I do like that spell.
Yeah. Whenever an equipment enters a battlefield under your control, you may attach it to target creature you control. So basically use your artifacts as battle tricks. And same with your auras. And I ended up splashing red for 2 cards. And one of them was Blood Mist. That's the one that gives a creature double strike at the beginning of combat. And the Impetuous Devils. But yeah, Sigarda's.
Those cards?
Yeah.
Isn't Impetual Devils a...
It's the Ball Lightning.
Ball Lightning?
Yeah, with Provoke.
Okay.
Yeah, and I splashed red for those 2, and they were ridiculous. Because somehow having a 6/1 double striking trample hasty devil is pretty difficult to deal with.
Yeah.
So yeah, like pack one, I got the Cigar de Zade, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to build around this because I got nothing better to do, so this is going to be fun. And then pack two, I opened up Stitcher's Graft. And you know what that one is?
Stitcher's Graft. That's no. I can't think of it right off the top of my head.
It's the 1-mana equipment. The equipped creature gets +3/+3.
Oh, but then it dies if it is attached.
Well, if it becomes unattached from the permanent, sacrifice that permanent. But also, when equipped creature attacks, it doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step.
Right.
So, attacking with this on your creature, unless it has vigilance, is going to slow you down for a turn, probably. So pack two, I ended up getting. Actually, yeah, the second set of packs, I ended up getting 2 of those passed to me. So I was like, yeah, okay, this is going to be fun and balanced.
Right.
Pack 3, I opened up Audric. The one that says at the beginning of combat, each creature gets like basically every keyword that all other creatures have. So if something has double strike, They all have double strike, all that crap, which is why I splashed in the Blood Mist. And then
I gotcha.
So yeah, just having those things on the field with equipments that give my stuff flying, or I had the one that gave them like vigilance. I had a creature that had lifelink. I had an aura that gave them flying, and then Audric, and it was just the whole deck just came together incredibly well, and I ended up taking down that draft. I lost 2 games the entire thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like my draft went about as good as I possibly could, but then we managed to draw game 1 or round 1, and then after that it just was constant pain getting the games to finish. Like I beat Remington the next round, and then I guess we'll just kind of pull this into the bad beat story for this next week, but my mana just betrayed me all night long. And it seems to have been the pattern all this week so far, too. With game day, like I took down game 1 very handily. Everything worked awesome. For the record, I've been playing that Tentacles deck. I don't know if you've seen it.
No.
But I will look it up and put a link of it for you somewhere. But I really like it. It's I've wanted to do. It regrows, crush a tentacle every turn if you want it. I really like it. There's a couple of cards that I'm not playing from the list, and a couple of things I am playing. I kind of experimented with a little bit here or there, but it's been a lot of fun. But it just let me down. Boom, boom, boom. On Saturday. I played Remington round 2. It was really a small tournament. We only had 8 people, I think, that was there for game day. We had a bunch of people there that just wanted to play other stuff, but they didn't want to play game day. And it was kind of weird for me because that Liliana mat is literally the sweetest thing I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
Maybe all of our people didn't want to spend $10 for entry fee. I don't know. But they complain about not being enough prizes. Anyway, so we it just against Remington, I should have won, no problem. I just got in a rush, and I drew an extra card after a mulligan to 5, and it just put me in a chain of events that basically I was just like, you know what, Remy, you win. Congratulations. And then he played Sean, who I would have beaten easily in the finals. But Remington had a little bit of trouble. They went to game 3, And then Remington needed to draw, I think, a creature or a land in his first 4 turns that cost 4 mana or less, because he had 4 lands in his hand and he had a 5 mana creature.
Okay.
And he would have won. And he never drew another creature. He never drew a creature that cost less than 5 or a 5th land or a mana accelerator. And he was playing a ramp deck.
Nice.
A ramp deck built around Eldritch Evolution. So he was doing things like playing Sylvan Advocates and Reality Shapers. Is that what they're called? Or what's the 3-drop when it dies? You flip the top card.
Yeah, they cost less. Matter Reshaper.
Shaper. So he's playing those guys, as well as Tireless Tracker. Like, he had a lot of 3-drops. I think his deck runs something like 20 3-drops or something. And then it runs the Eldritch Evolution, which is pretty sweet. He's built like this colorless emerged list.
Okay.
And does a lot of good. So he had a reasonable expectation when he kept his hand that he would draw a creature. And basically Sean was just able to get in with 1 creature, I guess, repeatedly. Eldritch Evolution was stuck in his hand and stuff like that. So if he just could have gotten any creature, he could have Eldritch Evolutioned it into a Thought-Knot Seer, and then turn that, if he wanted to, into something bigger, and so on up the chain. I'll try to get that deck list out. I think it's very good. It plays at least 2 of the 3 Eldrazi Titans, because he can tutor them if he wants them, or just play him. Like, I think it's very good. It needs a little bit of tweaking, but I don't know. So yeah, basically mana issues all weekend for me. Anyway, sorry. Please tell me about your game day.
Well, the first 2 rounds went incredibly well. The first round, I played against a guy who was playing green-white humans, and I was playing a red-blue mill deck, basically Sphinx's Tutelage and Bedlam Raveler, which was incredibly fun and efficient. And then, so I beat him due to mill 1 round and due to attacking him the 2nd round. And then the second game, I played the black-white angel list that everyone's playing. And I beat that one. Same thing, once through damage, once through mill. And then everything went downhill from there. Like, the day before, me and this dude, we were play testing, and I beat him 80-90% of the time, and he was playing that Teamer Emerge deck. And then on game day, he hit all the cards that he needed, and I didn't get jack. I didn't get anything. After that, it was, what was it? I can't remember the 4th round, but then the 5th round, I played an entirely colorless Eldrazi deck, like no colored mana sources. Yeah,
that's going around. Brown Eldrazi.
Yep, pretty much. Mono brown Eldrazi, and that thing. I mean, I didn't have any answers for the artifacts, which he pretty much figured that out game 2. So he took out his little creature ramps and just put in like removal spells, like Warping Whale and Spatial Contortion, those things. And then I really couldn't do anything other than try and mill away his answers, but, you know, him dropping an Ulamog kind of changes the game. But, you know, I'm not really upset about that. It's just kind of funny to me. But, you know, those were basically how my game day went.
So real fast, I want to throw in how badly I also misplayed terribly against Remington in game day round 2. let's see. He dropped Ulamog on me.
Mm-hmm.
The next turn, I dropped Emrakul on him.
Okay.
I didn't realize that Ulamog was indestructible until after I attacked and blocked.
Yeah.
So I exiled 20 of my cards, which put me at, I think, 19 cards left in my library. And
Yeah.
his creature was indestructible. Turn out, I'm like, all right. So next game, yeah, I just punted all over the place because of being on Tilt on lands. Anyway, I found the deck list for you. If you wanted to check out that Green-White Crush list, like I said, I've really liked it so far. Basically, the only thing I've changed is I think I have one less something. Oh, this is running Spontaneous Mutations. I'm not running those, but that might be a good card in this deck. I'm running the Green Warden of Marasa, which has been a lot of fun. So it's another regrow effect. I also had in, what's the 6-mana green guy that when he comes into play you tutor up a green 3-drop or less? Can't think of what he's called.
Woodland Behemoth.
I had that guy in there until I realized that I couldn't go get Nissa because it's a non-legendary green creature.
Yep.
So it really only left me with Bounding Caracas and Noose Constrictors to tutor up because you don't want to cut the Den Protectors. But a Den Protector, Crush of Tentacles combo for 10 mana. You just reset the board every turn. Have your 8/8 basically with Vigilance.
Mm-hmm.
And it's real sweet. Build up to Emrakul, the Promised End, or Ishkana, this giant spider guy, and just go to town. So anyway, enough with that. Let's get into some other sweet stuff. Have you seen this dredge list in Standard, essentially?
No.
Okay, well, it's in the show notes.
Oh, okay. I'm busy.
I forgot. Travis is in the process of putting together a deck list, but not really on the fly because he's got the cards in front of him, but he's entering it into MTG Goldfish for us so we can actually see and understand what the hell he's doing.
Yeah.
If you're watching the video, I'm going to throw up my my screen here and kind of run through this particular list. And Travis, you might be able to glance at every once in a while. But this list, Evolutionary Dredge, it runs something very similar to what Sean was running, who took down our local game day. And I thought a lot of the ideas are very sweet, even though a lot of parts of it I don't like. So, Den Protectors, Noose Constrictors, Death Mist Raptors, Prized Amalgam, which is a card that I don't like, but
you're
it is
wrong.
growing on me. It's growing on me because of the printing of the Haunted Dead in particular here.
Mm-hmm.
Garen, Pariah, and Decimator of the Provinces. So those are your creature package. You run one Sinister Concoction, the 4 Vessels that help fill up your graveyard, Evolutionary Leap, again, to find the next creature and put things back in your graveyard. Gather the Pack, again, you're filling up your graveyard. Grapple with the Past, again, you're filling up your graveyard. So basically, dredging isn't necessarily the right word, but the idea is that you're filling up your graveyard using things like Hunted Dead to bring back Prized Amalgam, or you're turning over a Den Protector to get back Death Mist Raptors. Stuff like that. It's very efficient, actually. And if we look at the price for this list on Magic Online, it's $46. I think it could be quite strong for the next couple of, what do we got? We got like 2 months, I think, in Standard. Yeah. In this Standard. Something along those lines. So if you're looking for something that's got a few rares, Den Protectors aren't going to go down, I don't think. Death Mist Raptors will basically go away. Whether or not this deck survives the rotation, is iffy. I mean, I guess you really only lose Den Protector and Deathmiss Raptor in rotation, right?
Yeah. No, you lose that.
Lose Evolutionary Pack. And
Yeah, Evolutionary Leap and Gather the Pact.
yeah, so maybe it won't survive rotation. There'll probably be some sort of new take on Pain Lands. I don't know. It might be okay. But I don't know. I was pretty pleased. I think I would have destroyed this deck again with the Crush of Tentacles deck. The advantage of playing all these creatures out on the board for free. You have this massive board. Let's put them all back in your hand. Now what do? You discard them again. You reset everything up to be able to replay them all from your graveyard. And then I bounce them again. So I felt like it would have been a good matchup for me, but for Remington's big creature deck, Volden Pariah is basically kill your dudes. Like, it's just insane. What else do we have? I was looking through user-submitted lists, and I will once again pull up the screen for this guy. And budget. So online, this thing is less than $8 currently. This Mardu Ally list from Crimson Katana I thought was really, really cool. 28 allies, including an ambush leader, Andrana, and 4 lantern scouts. Runs weapons trainers and Stonehaven outfitters, which I thought was weird. Of really solid equipment. And we're running exactly 4 Captain's Claws. But it comes down for 2 mana. It equips for 1 mana. And it makes an ally. So basically it starts activating
Everything.
Yeah, basically. So you like drain a person for a point of life with the healer. You give all your dudes first strike with the blade whirl. You give all your dudes lifelink till end of turn. Drana says, "Oh hey, now I do damage to everything, and all these dudes get an extra +1/+1." So, and of course the ambusher says, "Never draw another land if you don't want it." Basically.
Right.
I think this thing looked really, really good. It runs Retreats of Amirias even. I feel like I have a lot of these cards. This might be the deck that gets me back into playing Magic Online for the rest of the standard. What do you think, Travis?
It's similar to what I actually brewed up. I just use, instead of black, I'm using blue.
What
Well,
are you
if
using? What's the blue ally?
it's not for an ally.
Okay. What's the blue for?
So, well, the deck that I brewed up, I posted it in the show notes underneath your modern deck.
Oh.
So you see,
Okay.
so with
Is this
me playing the Sigarda's Aid in draft, I wanted to test it out in standard just to see if it was going to do anything. You know, if it was like good enough to compete. So this is essentially what I came up with, and I mean, I feel some things can change, but I don't know what they are yet because I actually haven't actually played it. But
okay?
I like the concept behind this.
Let's look at this thing.
Okay.
I'm gonna lock my screen.
Okay.
So people who can want to follow it can do so.
Right.
And you tell us about it.
All right. Well, you know, I did name it Sigarda's Jess Guide because, well, the deck, the premise is behind Sigarda's Aid, and the colors are Jeskai, obviously. Well, for 4 cards, 6, whatever. But yeah, Invocation of Satraft. I've been looking for reasons to, not reasons to play this, but just I've been looking for, you know, an out to play this. And I think this is it because, you know, at the end of your turn, or at the end of their turn, if they haven't killed your stuff, then, I mean, you can put this into play. And Otherwise, it just becomes a huge target no matter what. And
Right. For me,
then,
I put in my flyers deck.
yeah,
Like play like 1-drop or the 2-drop flyer on 3. I play it and attack for 6.
yeah,
And then if they deal with it, they dealt with it. But basically, it was a 3-mana haste flying creature that turn.
right.
But no, I understand what you're doing. I think it's good there.
So, and then
Keep going.
now I do have some one-ofs, like a Griff Spoon, for example. I don't really think you need more than one, simply because you can get it back. So that's why that's in there. It gives them flying, and with Audric in play, it gives all your creatures flying. And then, I mean, it's the same with the other one of equipments, the Chitinous Cloak, which gives the equipped creature +2/+2 in Menace. So it would give all
Which
of
is
my
a
creatures
lot
Menace.
better. It's a lot better with the free equip.
Yeah.
That's the main thing to keep in mind.
Like the Haunted Cloak would give all of my creatures Vigilance, Trample, and Haste. The Skeleton Key would give all of my creatures Skulk, which having a bunch of creatures with Skulk and Menace is pretty much going to let you do whatever you want. And then I figured the Stitcher's Graph. So after you declare your creature attacking, and if they don't block, or if they do block, whatever, then you flash in Stitcher's Graft. And if your creature survives, it'll untap next turn because it didn't trigger the the triggered ability of it didn't trigger the attack. It's just there. And so I think that's really the only way to play this, with the exception of having creatures that are vigilant. That or splash it onto the 4/4 angel.
The blue retreat might make this more playable as well.
Oh yeah. All right. Yeah, I could see that.
Then you can untap with a land drop.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Stitcher's Graph. I like it in drafts or whatever, just to have it on D.
Right.
Right. Being able to take like a cruddy early drop that's done getting in damage, right? And then all of a sudden it's a 5/5 on D. That's a big dude. And then it also, of course, threatens that one attack if it needs to or whatever.
Right.
That can be a big game. The Stitcher's Graft is one of the cards that I've been with Sigarda's aid. Is one of the things that I've been looking to put together.
Yeah. Well, I did it.
But if you're living the dream in draft, then I think that's it.
Right. And then I got the Captain's Clause.
I see that. Do you think that you'd be better off running all 4 Open the Armories and just go down on Captain's Clause?
I thought about it, but I couldn't find my 4th open, so it's at 3.
Okay.
Yeah, because I built this with what I have. But yeah, then the Captain's Clause, because it does trigger an ETB with the ally that it makes, with the Resolute Blade Master.
Mm-hmm.
And that says when an ally comes into play, creatures I control gain double strike. Yeah, then Open the Armory lets me search for an aura equipment and put it into my hand. It's a nice 2-mana fetch. Then, of course, the Blade Master and Audric. And then I got the 1-mana creatures, which are the Expedition Envoy, which, that's a fairly strong creature and has been since it was released. And then the Stoneforge Acolyte. And, if I give all of my creatures Menace, or not Menace, but Vigilance, then after combat, I can tap it and another creature or another ally and basically try and find another equipment and put it into my hand as another battle trick. But I don't know if I need more
So-
creatures and less of those things. But yeah, then you're scrolling over the lands. I got the Needle Spires and the Wandering Funerals, because I figure, well, don't probably need that much mana fix, but at least not main board. I haven't decided entirely the sideboard. But I think it'd be hilarious if they didn't block Needle Spires, and I'm like, oh, well, now it's an 8/8.
Sure.
Let's see.
So the reason I'm kind of looking at this, again, is this price, Magic Online. $36, right?
Uh-huh.
But when you look at it,
That's just
$20 of that almost is just the Wandering Furmaw.
Yeah.
So this whole thing could be incredibly budget, which makes me think we should play with it. We should tweak it around. I don't know what your schedule looks like this week, other than busy.
Yeah.
Because I know you said that you were like hella swamped, but this could be something to put together and fiddle with on the stream and give it a shot.
Right.
My instincts tell me, and I don't know how much of this you're going to agree with or disagree with, but my instincts say this deck wants the white retreat to Emiria, I believe.
Yeah.
It wants one or two of those.
Yep.
Is what my guts say. And it's also telling me that we want a Gideon. The big Gideon.
Right.
But again, I don't the 4-drop Gideon. Again, I don't know if you have to have it. I want to keep it super budget. It doesn't make sense. But like you have this nice little tutor package you can have if you need it. I think the other thing you want to do is have less spells and things to get and more things to put things on. Does that make sense?
It does.
Like 13 creatures, even with the Captain's Claws and the Manlands, are not very many.
Right.
So my gut is it needs a couple more creatures and a few less things to put on. And that's where I think you could go down like to 2 Captain's Claws and go up to 4 Open the Armory. And you can keep your tutor package in there. Like you might not even need 4 Evocations of St. Traff. You probably still do. But I think you want to have the ability to systematically go get the thing that you need and have more things to put it on there. That being said, so many hits with Stoneforge Light.
Yeah.
Like this thing is almost always going to find an enchant or
an equipment.
Crazy. But then if we go back and we look at that Mardu Ally deck, this is weapons trainer. Like maybe the only thing you do is you make some cuts, you add 4 weapons trainers to this deck, and maybe that's just enough.
Right. Well, see, and I was like torn between actually putting the invocation in this deck and making it more ally based, because I do have some of the dudes that give them +1/+1 for each, or if it's equipped, and I do have the weapons trainer. So I was thinking about doing that, which I mean that's an easy swap, 4 for 4, making it like minimum 17 creatures.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. I think you want to make a couple of cuts and put the weapon master in there, just because if you're going to go wide with these army of dudes, theoretically, having the ability to pluses, and again, that's the same kind of bonus with having Gideon or having the land, the Emiria land, or the retreat. Sorry, not the land. Is that you're going wide, and Anthem effects going wide. So I don't know. A lot of things to consider. I would definitely play and experiment with something along these lines. I think Sigarda's Aid is definitely the card that Like I've been wanting to do something with Captain's Claws for a really long time. Like open the armory, Captain's Claws, and then little dudes. Like I'm closer to this Mardu ally list.
Yeah.
But I could easily see like cutting Anguish and Makings, going down on some retreats, maybe even just getting rid of ultimate prices, just getting rid of all the interaction, and just
try and
putting
race.
in. Well, and just putting in like Sigarda's Aid and open the armory. It's already running Captain's Claws, and putting in something like Skeleton Key or Stitcher's Gaff, like you said, something that gives all your dudes a menace and Earth Skulk, and just like boom, and
Right,
just blast
hit him out
them.
of left field.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm pretty excited to give some of these things a try. And again, we're talking about $7 for the Mardu one. Literally, I'm doing some math here. $28. You're talking about $8 for Travis's deck if you're not playing Shivan Reef or Wandering Firmerole.
Right, and like I said, if you cut out the blue, then that'll save you. That'll drop it a lot.
I mean, $28 is out of there.
Yeah.
Like if you just don't want the blue, and that's not anything. At least in versus $24, it's basically nothing. Something in here is getting played, and I don't know what it is. I guess the Needle Spire. All the man lands are where all the cost of this deck is.
Yeah. And, still with Sigarda's Aid, I was just kind of wondering if it's modern playable with all the living equipments.
I had also thought about that as well. Like, you have the ones that cost 0. I really do think Sigarda's Aid's a card.
Yeah. It's just, you got to find the way to break it.
Exactly. And then when somebody does break it, it'll skyrocket. And then they'll do something to make it terrible.
Yep.
So, anyway, next on our show notes is the title. The reason that the title of this show is what it is.
Yeah.
And I'm going to throw this back up on the screen and lock it again. Man, I really
it's all right. Nobody wants to see your face.
That's right. Nobody loves you, Samus.
Yeah. Go.
So one of my favorite decks of all time is a deck that I built. It's still together. It's sitting right here.
Not that anyone can see it because you got it locked.
Oh, sure. I picked it up and I'm holding it. Is a deck that I built around one of my favorite cards of all time, of Mystic Snake. One of my next favorite cards, Wild Pair, and White Mane Lion. Like, to me, those guys are... It's like, I love blinking effects. I love Enter the Battlefield triggers. And Momentary Blink plus Mystic Snake plus White Mane Lion plus Wild Pair equals good times to me. So, when I originally built this deck, it was Cold Snap, Shadows, Time Spiral, Standard.
Well, it wasn't Shadow Standard.
Yeah. No, Shadow. What's Shadows over Lauren, right? Shadowmoor. Sorry, Shadowmoor.
Yeah, Shadowmoor. Okay. That makes more sense.
So Time Spiral, Cold Snap, Lorwyn, Standard.
Yeah.
So I had to use really bad lands to make it work, like the snow lands. And I had to have a bunch of tutor spells, like go search my deck for a snow land or snow thing and put it into play or whatever. And it was really crazy. And I built the deck around, because Wild Pair works when you have a power and toughness together total, right? So I use 2 2s because those always equal to 4.
Yep.
And you could do some really interesting things with like a Wall of Roots. Wall of Roots is 5, but you can spend a mana with that trigger on the stack and give it a -0, -1 counter. So it had a power and toughness that equal to 4. So you could play a Wall of Roots and go tutor up something like a Mole Drifter, who drew you 2 cards when it entered the battlefield, or a Vincer to bounce their thing, or a Sower of Temptation, steal their best guy. Like, you could do all these crazy things, and now they reprinted, essentially, in my opinion, Mystic Snake 2.0 in Spell Queller.
Yeah.
Which kind of got my brain thinking, like, there's so many good, and again, I'm going to say 5s, because their power and toughness together equals 5. And then, ding, 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 Wall of Roots comes back on the radar, right? Nyx Fleece Ram comes on the radar. Sylvan Advocate is a 5, right? Unless it's in play. And then it gets a +2, +2. So you can't play a Sylvan Advocate with 6 mana on the board and go get another 5. But you could tutor up another, on turn 5 with a wild pair out there. You could play or turn 6, you could play a Sylvan Advocate, tutor up something like, say, a Spell Queller, or you could play a Spell Queller and tutor up a Sylvan Advocate out of the deck because it's not in play, and then bam, you slap down what's now a 4/6 Sylvan Advocate. So I don't know. This is where my brain went. It's currently 36 cards with the plan of running 24 lands. I have to figure out the lands because now with the addition of Sylvan Advocate, lands become tricky, right? Like, do I run... I'm turning around now to grab it. Do I run Fairy Conclaves in this list? Do I run Treetop Villages? Do I run any of the other man lands? Because again, one of the things with this deck, it doesn't have to be super fast, right? Like, it's got this kind of catch up, these 2-drops down with Wall of Roots and Nyx Fleece Ram, but it's also got, Sylvan Advocate, which is basically Tarmogoyf. It's got White Mane Lion that, like, jumps down and saves a dude if you need to. It's got a couple of Kitchen Finks to kind of catch back up on lands. And then if you get one, you have a Spell Queller. Or not a Spell Queller, a Stone Cloaker. Stone Cloaker, if you don't know, it's like a White Mane Lion in the sense that it's a 2/3 with flash, that when it enters the battlefield, you can return a creature back to your hand.
Mm-hmm.
But it also exiles a card out of somebody's graveyard at instant speed. So, like, if somebody flashes in a Snapcaster Mage and targets something, in response to that ability on the stack, you can flash in your Stonecloaker and exile that card out of their graveyard, essentially countering that ability.
Jeez.
So, like, it's got a lot of play. And I started wondering, like, what 2-drops changed this game, right? Oh, before I move on before I move into 4s, or back into 4s, I also want to add one other card was printed that's a 5, right? And again, by 5, I mean power and toughness together equal 5. Prophet of Crewfix has been printed, Travis.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so you play a bunch of stuff on your turn, you go get a Prophet of Crewfix and say go.
Right.
And then you untap and you have all your stuff back. Like, it seems so good. Anyway, so back to 4s for a second. You have great 4s like Sower of Temptation, Venser, Mole Drifter, but the one that really kind of pushes the game over the top for me is Hornet Queen.
Yeah.
We're talking about, I think, 5 1/1 flying Death Touchers to come along for the ride.
Yep. And that's
like, it's just,
and that's a 4.
Right? That's got to be GG. And it really comes down to the printing of Idyllic Tutor that make this deck work. Because trying to hunt down 4 wild pairs in your deck is really painful. You're talking about 4 6-drops in a relatively greedy deck, where if you could Idyllic Tutor, go get one when you're ready for it, all of a sudden it changes your scope of your mana. Creature-based control list, essentially. So you're playing control elements, you're playing these troll cards, you're filling up your hand with Mole Drifter, you're blinking it, your hand with White Mane Lions or Stone Cloakers, you're getting all these cards that you possibly need. Meanwhile, you're also tutoring up these other interesting things like Spell Queller. Imagine the first time you Spell Queller something and then momentary blink it with Spell Queller's ability on the stack. Because remember, this is one of the times that they've broken their own rule, and a Spell Queller's ability, it has a return trigger. So if you return a card before it leaves, it's gone forever.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think there could be a lot of really good. I think this has got some play to it again. I think Spell Queller has brought it back to life a little bit. I just need to figure out the lands. And potentially any other amazing 2s or 5s. Can you think of anything I'm missing?
Not off the top of my head.
Me either.
I'm pretty
I
sure.
had a list of stuff I thought would be really cool. Like, it wouldn't be hard at all to glue in an infinite life combo.
Right.
Like a Malaria. But I had to figure out a way to put in a sack outlet. Right? And I couldn't figure out a way to put in a sack outlet that I in this list. What else could I glue in this thing pretty easily? I felt like there's at least one other thing. An infinite combo that I thought about putting in here, but decided against it. You put a Kiki-Jiki in here.
Yes. Oh, that would make the deck so much better.
Able to cast it.
Well, no, but you can
never be able to cast it. I could get it, and I could play it.
It's just like the... it's just going to be like the Hornet Queen. I mean, you can get it.
But I could play a Hornet Queen.
Right. Is there any way you can throw things back in your deck? Or if you just get Kiki-Jiki, you're like, no, and mulligan?
That's true. I could. No, I currently don't have a way to. I could put a. So I used to have, I think it was called a. Let me just look and see if I can find it. There was a 2/2 from time, but I'm rewinding here. Just 1 second. Bear with me. I know it's in here or was in here. I have a profane command in here and primal commands.
Yeah.
But there was it's like a hex mage witch, I think, or something.
Okay.
It's a 2/2 with hybrid mana. Like if you controlled a forest, you regrew. You can put a creature back in your hand, I think, from your graveyard.
Right.
Or if you had a swamp, like you could kill a creature, I think, when it came into play. For the record, this deck used to also be black. It was 4 colors.
Yeah.
Because of Shriek Maul. Like, there was no reason not to be black when Shriek Maul was in the format.
It is a 2/2.
But now, no, it's a 3/2.
Whatever.
But with Stone Cloaker now, I think, or Spell Queller, I think you just counter the spell instead of worrying about killing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't have a way to regrow from my graveyard. That is a potential card. I don't know. I'd love to have input. If you guys want to take this deck list, tweak it, modify it, tell me how it should be played. Send us a deck list to 2trollsbrew@gmail.com. I would literally love to have this deck around and play. And in the very near future and feel comfortable that I could play Modern with this deck again. I really like it.
It's really fun.
Anything else you want to talk about before we kind of get to the game? It is fun.
No,
I think.
But I do have questions for you. So
Okay, hit me.
This PPTQ, we have it as Modern, and I am debating if I want to play Maze's End, or if I want to play Tribal Snakes.
Well, clearly, Tribal Snakes because of Mystic Snake.
Right. But the only downside is... Huh? What did you say?
I see you roll your eyes on camera as soon as I say
Well, the only issue is that I need 3 time of needs, so that way I can fetch out my legendary snakes. It costs a colorless and a green, and you search your library for a legendary. Right, yeah.
When is your PPTQ, Travis?
Friday or Saturday. So
I will try to look for them today, and if I find them, I'll mail them to you today.
But will they be here by Saturday?
If I put them in the mail today, you should be able to get mail anywhere in the United States if you put it in at a regular stamp cost or whatever. First class mail.
Okay.
It should. I'm not promising you anything.
Right. We're saying if I get the time of needs here before I leave my house on Saturday, which will be at 11, then I will play Snakes. Because I do have a playset of Mystic Snakes.
I will look. I will see if I can find them by... the mail goes out here, I think, at 3. So when we get unrecorded... Technically, my stuff is grouped by sets now, so I should be able to walk over here, find the section, and flip through it and find it. If not, Riley, to the moon.
You're grounded.
No, I was going to child abuse him to the moon. Oh boy, he's muted himself, folks. Shite's getting real. All right, so I'm Samus, he's Travis. You've been listening to an episode of Two Trolls and a Brew, the podcast about Magic the Gathering, trolling people, playing with cards that other people think are bad, and all that. You can, of course, check out all of our past episodes at samusgrobel.com, or you can check us out at mtgcast.com. You can send us an email at the number 2trollsbrew@gmail.com. You can check out the twitch.tv/SamusGrobo. You can check out twitter.com/SamusGrobo, twitter.com/TurtlePower319. You can also check out youtube.com/SamusGrobo for the video version of this podcast, which we put out now for a little while because Pamela turned into a dirty, dirty girl. Travis, you're back. Hit us with the rest of your thoughts, bro.
I don't know. I got distracted, so I don't have any more thoughts.
Boom. Perfect. I love it. So this week's game, we're going to do something different, something I hope everyone will like. I'm a big Twitter person, and Travis is turning into a better Twitter person. And one of the things they do on Twitter are hashtags and trending hashtags. And for the last 2 days, there has been 2 different hashtags trending. Movies and top 7 movies and top 7 TV shows. I've got mine listed. I want to know what yours are.
Okay.
Oh, he's taking a drink.
So
you want to do movies? You want to do TV shows first?
Yeah. Honestly, I don't know if I can do TV. Well,
I bet you could do TV shows.
Yeah, I could do TV shows. Let's see. I'm gonna start with The movies, though,
Okay.
you can't list
And they
six
don't.
movies as one.
Somebody gave me shit for doing this on the stream too. So I'll read mine off here real fast, and then we can have a little bit of an argument about movies. So number 1, Defending Your Life. This is one of my favorite movies of all time. I basically have built my entire life around this movie. The whole point of this movie is to do the best you can to live your life, not because of fear, but because of rational decisions. Basically, the moral of the story is not to let fear rule your life. And I've done everything I can so far trying to live up to this movie. It's really weird to me that what's supposed to be a comedy has basically become the guiding moral principle of my life. But that's how I roll. Number 2, Euro Trip. I happen to love coming-to-age, raunchy teenage comedies, as you'll see by some more of my selection. I have listed the Iron Man movies as and again, I kind of put this as a category. If I were to pick one, I would probably say the first Iron Man movie was the best Iron Man movie. And I also said I include the Avengers and Captain America Civil War are basically Iron Man movies 4 through 6. Shut up. If you disagree with me, you're wrong. Watch the movies again. They are Iron Man movies. And I'm really looking forward to Iron Man 7. Iron Man bangs Aunt May. What?
No,
That's what it's going to be.
pretty much.
That's what it's going to be.
It's going to be subtitled Spider-Man.
It's going to be subtitled Spider-Man, but the real movie title is going to be Iron Man bangs Aunt May. Why else do you think they picked Melissa Torme to be Aunt May? Doesn't make any other sense. Okay, where am I at? Number 1, 2, 3. Number 4, Die Hard, the first Die Hard movie. That movie is king. Like, it holds up. It's amazing. It's got everything you need it to be. It's great. There's no top movie, anything, best. There's no best movie that is correct that does not have a John Wayne movie on it. You had better go back in time and change. Oh, man, some of these movies are really good. But I think you have to have a John Wayne movie on your top 7 list or you're just dumb.
I don't have to.
I think you have to, or your list is done. I think if you don't have a John Wayne movie, your list is done. For me, my favorite John Wayne movie is probably tied between Hatari and Hellfighters. Hellfighters, he is a firefighter that basically puts out oil well fires. It's very, very good. I really like it. But Hatari wins out just slightly. He catches animals in Africa for the zoo. And so you have like cute baby elephants and zebras and fun little songs and stuff like that. So Hatari wins out just slightly. And then because I'm an old man, Operation Petticoat. Have you ever seen this movie, Travis?
Nope.
I'm gonna copy it real quick because I suddenly can't remember who's all in here, but it has literally some of the greats of all time: Tony Curtis, Hugh Grant. They are in a submarine captain. Tony Curtis is a lieutenant that kind of gets shoved into his command. That's basically a troublemaker. It's in World War II. The boat has the very first day it's put to sea, and they're trying to get it to, or one of its very first missions, and basically they're trying to limp this thing back to dry dock so it can get fixed, and shenanigans happens along the way. Like they stop on all these different islands around the South Pacific to try to get supplies and stuff, and shenanigans ensue. One of the great movies of all time, in my opinion. Definitely check it out. My favorite movies, American Pie. Again, another coming-to-age, teenage, raunchy comedy. I just love them. Love them to death. All right, let's see. Travis, you have a pretty interesting list here. And I would agree, most of these movies are great. Very great.
I went crazy with it. So I'm going to go in like reverse order because I just thought of these as I was going. I think my least favorite of the top 7 would be the Die Hard with Justin Long. I forget which one that is, but so I titled it Die Hard Justin Long. But just the whole concept of shutting down the government has always been great for me.
Die Hard with a Vengeance, right?
That might be it, yeah.
Or is that Live Free or Die Hard?
Yeah, Live Free or Die Hard, that's it. Cool. I still like my version better.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
You're not wrong, Die Hard Justin Long. I do love Justin Long. That's a good movie. Like, a lot of people give it a lot of shit, but the scene with Kevin Smith was really great. And I know that Kevin Smith did a lot of rewrites in that movie to kind of help it make sense. Yeah. I wish he would go to all the Die Hard movies that were made after Die Hard 1 and do slight rewrites so they make sense. Anyway, continue.
Then I would go with The Empire Strikes Back, simply because they got really deep into the story behind so many different angles, and it's a classic movie.
I would put it in my top 10 for sure. It's like number 8 or 9 on my list.
Yeah.
Just the best.
The Shawshank Redemption, because that seriously has one of the best storylines ever, and
I think it may be one of the greatest movies of all time.
Well, there's been a lot of critics that have said it's the greatest.
There's definitely an argument that Shawshank Redemption is one of the greatest movies of all time.
It's not a very long argument because anyone that's seen it is like, yeah.
Andy Dufresne called through a mile of shit and on the other side.
Yep. Let's see. Then Anchorman, because I love stupid comedy.
This industry, I didn't care for Anchorman.
Oh, that's fine.
And I really like the guy who played Ant-Man.
Paul Rudd.
And he's Paul Rudd. I really love Paul Rudd, and I didn't like Anchorman.
Yeah, that's fine. Then the Boondock Saints. Have you seen that?
Never seen it.
Well,
am I missing out on life? Do I need it? Okay, I'm copying it right now. See if it's on Google Play.
It is.
If it's on Google Play for not very much, I will.
It's like $3 or something if you rent it or whatever. But then The Lion King.
Okay. And The Lion King is a good movie.
And
very good movie.
Finally, American History X. And again, the story on that is just absolutely phenomenal. Have you seen it?
The Lion King?
No, American History X.
I feel like I've seen parts of it. I don't feel like I've seen the whole movie.
You need to see the whole movie.
Okay, I'll consider it. I've thrown up all these movies that I have not seen, which honestly is just these last two, the Boondock, and the American History X. I put them up, and I'm going to put them into my wish list on my Google Play account.
Yeah,
I'll get there. I want to throw a quick couple of honorable mentions. McClintock, again, it's a John Wayne movie, but it's like John Wayne does comedy. I feel like that's a definitely honorable mention. And I also want to add Mary Poppins.
Yeah.
That movie is great. Like, it's like a lot of these people, they talk about The Lion King, and like I said, it made your list. For me, growing up, it was Mary Poppins. Like that Spoonful of Sugar song, Dick Van Dyke. That movie is great. But if I were to fill out the rest of my top 10, the Ninja Turtle movie, the original Ninja Turtle movie, and the original Ghostbusters are on that list, as well as the Back to Time trilogy or Back to the Future trilogy. That rounds out my top 10 movies of all time. Are those three movies? So honorable mentions to all this, and I think it's a cool concept to put a list together. It really shows how much you love. So speaking of how much you love something, hit me with your top 7 TV shows.
My top 7, in no particular order: Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, and then Dragon Ball. Everything except for GT, because let's just forget that exists.
I really need someone to give me, because I was watching like Dragon Ball Z Kai or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I need an even more edited than Dragon Ball Z Kai. I was watching it online, like even more condensed. Because even in Dragon Ball Z Kai, there was an awful lot of powering up.
Yeah, but they didn't do as many like cutscenes and drag out the whole right. Fights. And I think
it did help. Yeah, it did help. I just would like to see it just even a little bit more. Like I was watching Dragon Ball Z for like the Frieza saga and stuff through there is very good.
Yeah.
Next,
then Supernatural. And
grade A TV show.
11 seasons of just.
And they got approved for
the
next season too, 12, I think.
Yep.
And how do you top God and his sister?
Yeah.
Like, they're going for it.
Let's see. Then Wild Discovery, which, do you remember back in the day when the Discovery Channel actually taught you things?
Okay, so here's the thing. Keep in mind, I grew up with 3 stations, so I only occasionally had access to cable through visiting grandparents or whatever.
Right.
So I was actually wondering if that's what you were talking about, was Wild Discovery.
Yep. Wild Discovery is basically overall just a documentary about human and animal life, which I like learning about stuff. So that always was one of my top TV shows. I'm actually going to take this one out. 4.
Oh, you're going to put in... Oh, really?
Oh, I love Bob Ross. You
surprised me with this one.
I watch Bob Ross videos every night when I go to bed.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah,
because
again, remember I said I grew up with 3 channels. One of them was PBS. So I did get to watch some Bob Ross when it was new. And he was incredibly underappreciated, but now he's overappreciated, I think.
Well, I just I really enjoy it because at least when I was a kid, I was incredibly hyperactive, and Bob Ross always it was Bob Ross and Wild Discovery were the only 2 things that ever calmed me down. So those 2 just stick in my head always.
The thing that I remember about Bob Ross was that he it's okay to make a mistake.
Yeah.
Because you can fix it, or you can tweak it, or you can make it work. And learning that at a young age, again, you're talking about something that you watched as a kid influencing today. Like when I watched Defending My Life or Defending Your Life, same kind of thing. But that concept that it's okay to make a mistake, you can just make it better, is the key to Bob Ross. And I don't think that people take that lesson away enough.
Right.
Hit me.
Then the next one, TMNT. Whichever series you want to play, I will watch.
Not enough people are honest about putting cartoons on their list. Like, I've seen all these lists show up on Twitter using that hashtag.
Yeah.
Almost none of them are being honest and putting in the cartoons. I don't understand why. Is it, did they just like decide it's like those classic cartoons? They have so much love and endearment. I'll watch them even today. Even if they don't hold up, I'll still watch them. I don't understand why people aren't being honest about those kind of things.
Because people are ashamed of what they like?
I think so. I think there's a little bit of that. And we can't let people, we got to call people out on their shenanigans.
Yeah, I do. On a daily basis. It's hilarious. And then my last show, which is probably like the leading cause of my moral compass nowadays, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
You're going to hit me. And I know it's on Netflix, but I still haven't watched it.
Oh, you need to. Did you like Seinfeld?
Not really.
Oh. Well,
like, it's fine. It's good. I actually have to modify my list right now that I think about it. But what little bit I've caught of Always Sunny, I do like. I just need to watch it.
You need to. Like, just sit down one day and just watch a whole season, and you'll just slowly see that there is nothing going on in their lives, and they're awful human beings, and it's beautiful. Like, just the systematic.
Well, I think if I hit my list, if I hit my Netflix list, I believe it is on there.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's right there. It's in the lower. It's in the lowermost left-hand corner of my list.
We need to hurry this up.
I just haven't got around to it.
I gotta leave for work.
All right. Well, I'm gonna knock out. That's fine. I'm gonna knock out my list real quick, and then we can just end with your closing thoughts. So, Archer, Suits, MASH, all of the Whedon shows. So, like Buffy, Angel, Firefly. To me, again, they're all kind of together in one homogenous mass of stuff. Then I listed Netflix shows, Daredevil,
basically the Marvel.
Longmire. Well, not just the Marvel, but like Longmire's now a Netflix show. That is great if you haven't watched it. Netflix original TV shows that I highly recommend. Like I want to say the Ranch is a new one that's come out last year. Todd from the Arena actually turned me on to it. Really good stuff. Then I'm going to throw Darkwing Duck into the mix. Again, it's one of those shows that's like foundationally builds your character. Darkwing Duck, Tailspin, DuckTales, like these were my jam growing up as a child, and I love all of them. Then we're going to go to probably the TV show like Enterprise. I did say Enterprise, right?
If you did,
Enterprise,
and you did.
Enterprise is the best Star Trek TV show ever. Go watch it. It's only like 4 seasons long. Do it. It's just the best Star Trek. But my favorite TV show, Archer and Suits, is a short-run TV show out of England called Coupling. It is this dysfunctional group of friends who are like cross-dating with each other. Like, it's about a couple who gets together, and it's his best friend and his ex-girlfriend and her ex-boyfriend and her best friend. And like those 6 people are like thrown together into a hilarious British comedy. and it's just amazing. If you've not ever seen that, it's worth to watch 1,000 times. I try to watch it at least once a year. Well, we're up against a hard break, everybody. Travis has got to go to work. Travis, do you have any final thoughts for us this week?
Nope.
Drink beer?
If you want to.
I mean, those are your jobs, right? I don't know which one you're running off to.
Liquor store.
Okay, there you go. Drink beer, I guess, if you want. Eat some pizza. Troll some people. Give me anything, Travis.
Yeah. Your face is sufficiently cherry enough. Troll on, everybody.
Troll on, mother truckers.